Hello and welcome to another video in our multiplayer course. In this video we will start making how to choose between the two tanks that we have. First, the first thing to do is to make the default tank to spawn in this main menu level. So first we start by making our structure that will contain our tanks that we will be able to spawn. So let's go to the structures folder here and duplicate this structure, and let's call it tanks, and let's open it. And here in the structure I will add an array. First let's choose the BP tank. I want it to be a class reference, BP tank, and change it to an array. Here call it tank. Here the default value, let's add two elements in this array. Should be the first one will be the Abrams, the second one will be the T72. So now let's close this structure, do not need it anymore. And here in this start menu, let me add a scene component just to find, or a cube, just to find the best position to put to make the tank. No, let me delete this one. Let's take go to the blueprints here, tanks, and let's put the tank here. Change its rotation, and let's choose the best view. Now let's start. I think we need to make it make the player start slightly go backward here, slightly away from the tank. Maybe we should make it up above and look down at the tank. This will be better. I think this is better. I'll just make it closer to the tank. Let's find out. Slightly rotate it, maybe upward like this, and let's try. I think this is good. So what I need is the transform of this tank. Here with the details. Here I need the location and the rotation. So let's go to the game instance. Where's the game instance? Here in the blueprints, main blueprint. Here's the game instance. Here let's make a custom event. Let's call it spawn selected tank. Here we need an input which will be an integer which will represent the index of the selected tank. Let's call it tank index. Here we need spawn actor from class. Always spawn, ignore collision. And for the class, we will get from the array that we made in the structure. Here let's look for the tanks, st tanks. Let's call it here tanks. Let's get this structure here and break it and get a copy and connect it to the class here. And for the spawn transform, I will connect it here. For the instigator, we do not need it because this custom event will be only offline when we first choose our tank, and it will appear in front of us in the level. So let's go back. Let's go back to the main menu game mode. Here, this one, and here on begin play. Cast. First, let's get game instance. Sorry, game instance. And let's do a cast to tank game instance. Here I will do a cast because this main menu game mode, this will be destroyed when we travel to the lobby level, so it is not important. It will not affect performance because we are in the main menu level, which is empty, and even if we make a full game, it will be will not have that much assets that will make it slow on performance. So let's promote it to a variable. And after we promote to a variable, here let's call the spawning the custom event, where is the game instance here, spawn selected tank. Let's call it spawn selected tank. Now for the transform, let's make transform, and let's get the rotation and location of this probe that we put here. So let's copy the location. The X will be 834 for the location, and the Y -7, and the Z -1. -7 here, -1. Also for the rotation for the Z will be 140. Now let me delete this probe here. We don't need it anymore. Now if we start, we will have the tank spawned. Now what I will do, how to choose multiple tanks, is to change this index that we choose from the UI. I'll make the UI, and the UI will change this index. So let's make the UI for the choosing of the vehicle. So let's go to the blueprints, or where is our UI? Here in the UI. Here in the main menu, let's add a new button here, above or below. I'll make it above, which is the for select tank. We will go select the tank, then we will go back to the when we select the tank, it will bring us back to this menu. Then we host a game or find a game, and this will be it will not be that insecure, because when you spawn the game, when you play connect, or when you find a match and connect, the tank will be spawned on the game mode, so it will be validated on the game mode. It will not need another validation. The only thing that will need validation is the tank index, and this will be solved later if we make a full game by adding the Steam authentication or other things that you make later if you make a full game of this project. So let's add a new button here. Let me duplicate this find button. Let's duplicate it, and let's change its name. Call it select tank. Also let's change the text here, make it select tank. Now let me change its position. For position X, make it -100. and for the position Y, let's see the difference, minus 25. Okay, it's minus 100. Now let's here on clicked we'll create a widget which we will make now. This widget will permit us to select between the two tanks. For the owning player, let's get player controller. Here add to viewport, and before we add it to the viewport we destroy or remove from parent. We remove the current widget from parent. For the class, let's make a new widget class. User interface, widget blueprint, user widget. Let's call it WBP choose tank. Sorry, no space. Choose tank. Now let's open it. Here what we need a button here to select the tank, and button here and here for the so there will be the arrows to cycle between the right and left, cycle between the two tanks. So first we need a canvas panel, and here we need 3 buttons like I said. The first button, this one here, and the button here, let's anchor it to the lower middle, change the position, and let's call it name it select. Let's change its size, make it 200 by 50, and for the X position make it minus 100, and for the Y let's, I think minus 100 is also good. Here we need also a text and attach it here to the button. Here the text, let's change the text and call it select. Let's increase the size and make it maybe 26 is better. We can change the color, but I will leave it. The visuals is on you. If you want to change any visuals or the style of the UI, you can change it. For me, I will stick with this minimalistic style. Now we have the select. Let's add button here and here for the arrows. So I will duplicate this one, the select. I will call it next, and here the text also, I will put here an arrow, this is the bigger than symbol, and I will put it here on the same Y position, minus 100, and for the X I will leave it, and let me change its size, make it 50 by 50. Also let me increase the size of the arrow, maybe make it 30, and maybe let's change the I'll change the padding on the bottom. Let's make it 4, maybe 6. Okay, this is better. Let me increase the size of it more, maybe 34, 40. 40 is enough, I think. Let me increase the padding on the bottom, 20. Here let's select this one, size to content. So let me make the padding 2, make it back to 2. Let's change the size here, maybe 34 is enough. Okay, let's make its position, make it back to, well, I don't like this, don't like it. Let's make it size also 50. Let me change the, I'll make it next, we'll call it 26. It is better. In my testing, I left it as the I left the symbol as the more than symbol, but now I think the text is better. Here also let's change the anchor, put it here on the right lower corner. Now let's duplicate the next, and let's take it here. I'll change its name to back or previous. I'll call it back. Now let's put the position Y to -100. Now here let's go and make the code for the next, or for the select on clicked. What we want, when we select the tank, what we want to take the index of the current tank and save it in the game instance, and then after we save it in the game instance, so here on select, when we click the select button, so we need to save the tank index and save it in the game instance. So first of all, here on a construct, let me delete this. Here we need to cast to game instance. First let's get game instance here under the game, cast to tank game instance, promoted to a variable, and let's go back to the game instance, or here our game instance. We need to make a new variable, integer. Let's call it tank index. Let me delete this. We delete this one. Let me cut this and paste it in the game instance here, because like I said, this only will make this spawn. All this only will happen locally in the main menu level only, just for visuals, to give you an impression, or to give you to let you know what tank you chose. So here in the where is it? Here choose WBP choose. Let's make a new variable call it tank index here in the widget here. Now when we select, like I said, when we select the button here, we will set the we will get the tank index and get the game instance. Set tank index. Here we will set the tank index to the current index that we chose in the UI. So here for the next, only clicked. Here for the next, we will get the tank index and increase it by one. And also we need to clamp the integer to the maximum number of the arrays, the maximum index in the tank array. So let's get the tank array. Just set the tank index. Now to clamp the integer, here let's add a variable which will be the st_tanks, the structure for the tanks. Get it here and break the structure. Here, like I said, we need the tank index to be clamped to the maximum index of this variable, of this array. So if we add more tanks, like if we added 4 tanks, so the maximum index will be 3. So this will stop at 3. Get sorry, not get, last index. Also, if we reach the last index, here, if we reach the last index, we need to reset the tank index to 0 again. Let's say now we have 2 tanks. We will start with 0, increase 1, this will be 1. Then when we get back and increase, also press next and increase the value. Now it is 1. Now if it is more than 1, no, let me repeat. We start with 0, increase 1. Now the value is 1. Then when we go back and press next again, we'll increase 1 here. This will be more than 1, will be 2. But we do not have number 2 in our index because it is only two variables. So when we get more than 1, we reset the tank index to 0. So how to make this? We need to check if if this is more than the last index. Here, make a branch. If it is not more than the last index, we will go this way and set the tank index to the current tank index that we increased. But if the current index is more than the last index in the array, so we reset the tank index to 0. Also here, after we set the tank index. Now let's go now for the back. The back will be reversed, and I will explain it when we finish. Now only click here. What we will do is we will decrease the tank index by 1, by value of 1. Let me get this tank index here, make it minus, subtract 1. Also let's clamp the integer. The minimum is 0, and the maximum is also will be this, the last index of our array. Also let's duplicate this one and set the index to the current index. Now here, when we are going back, what we want to do, if we reach 0, here, if we reach less than 0, here if the index now is 0 and we subtract 1 and we reach below 0, so we need to reset the index to the last index. So here, if it is below 0, I know it is confusing, but you will get it when it is finished. Now we are below 0, so if it is false, not below 0, go the normal route that we made. If it is below 0, now we change the tank index. We set the tank index to the last index of the array. It's like we reach the 0, then we go back from the upper value. I hope you get the idea. Just a quick recap. Here, when we click the next, we increase the tank index by 1 value, then clamp the value to the size of the array, of the tank array that we have, to make sure that the value does not go above the values that we have in the tank array. But if we reach the maximum number in our tank array, let me show by printing string. Let me find the tick here, event tick, and print string. Let's get the tank index here. Let me first, before we test, let's go to the main menu here and add the choose tank. Now here, let's go select tank. Now we have 0. If we go next, we have 1. More next, we have 0 again, because we reached the maximum number of the index, but the back is not visible. Let me see why it is not visible. Let me anchor it here, because it was not anchored. Let's start again, select. Now we are on the 0. If I press back, the number should change to 1. Now it is 1 because we reached 0. So what is below 0, we do not have minus indices in our array, so we go back to the maximum number. Also for the next, now for the back, let's make it for the next. Now it is 1. If I do next, it is 0. Now let's go back here and I'll delete this. I do not need it. Here on the select, after we select the index of the tank, we create a widget, and get player controller for the owning player, and the widget is the main menu. We'll go back to the main menu, add to viewport, and before adding to viewport here, let's remove from parent. Here we remove the current user interface, the current menu from the parent, and which is equal to destroying it, and then we add the new UI to the viewport. Here let's get the game instance and get spawn selected tank, connect the two execution pins and get the tank index and put it here. Also let's duplicate this and put it here on the back. Before we test, let's go back to the game instance. Let's open this one here. The game instance, let's promote this. After we spawn the tank, we promote it to a variable called tank. This is important. Let me move this away here. Here, before we spawn the tank, we need to test if it is valid, which means that we already have a tank spawned, so we need to destroy the already spawned tank. If it is not valid, so we go here and spawn the tank normally. But if the tank is already valid, so we need to destroy it first before we spawn it again. Destroy actor and go back to spawn it again. Now let's test. Let's select tank. Next, also here we select. Now we will have the tank selected. I will stop here and continue on the next video, and we will implement how to choose the spawning of the tank on the server by using the index that we already selected. So thank you for watching. See you on the next video.